So Barry, I'm so excited to have you here today in between Entre Mundos. Great to be in New York. Thank you very much. Before I ask anything else, favorite place in New York?
My favorite place in New York is this condo. I'm so happy here. I'm on the 39th floor and I could look out and see all four sides, New Jersey, the East River, the Hudson River, uptown all the way to Central Park. And I'd say I'm happy just being inside here.
You are a very interesting person. You have been in business, philanthropic person. You are in the film business, a superstar. You have lots of sides of Barry that people doesn't know. I want to go back on your childhood. How was it?
I had a great childhood. I grew up at a time where kids were taught about their responsibilities, what they needed to do around the house to help or to clean or to take care of the property. Today, kids seem to be more interested in what their entitlements are, what they can get for nothing without working for it. So I grew up in a time where work ethic was important, honesty was important. And I had one instance when I was maybe 6 years old. I drove my bicycle up to the corner and went inside a drugstore and I stole a little round ball. And I took it home and my father saw I was playing with a ball he didn't recognize and he asked me and I told him. He made me get my piggy bank and go with him to the drugstore, walk in, ask for the owner of the store and tell him I stole that ball and I was here to pay for it. And with tears in my eyes, I paid for it out of my piggy bank. And I've never stolen a thing since. If somebody gives me the wrong change, I give it back. I'm very honest.
Okay, so I like the childhood conversation because it's very different than what people have today. Like today, everybody's with the kids are with the technology, which is great for one side, but also the kids are all the time with their phones, and I feel like they are missing out on how you were raised, for example. Yeah. What do you think?
So I started working every summer from when I was 13 in the lighting factory that my father had started. And I worked every summer all the way through college. And it reminds me of a story I've told before. The young son comes to work for the father in the family business. The father says, I'll tell you what, I'm going to start you out in the factory. You'll get to use every machine, see every operation, and you'll know the business. And the son did it for one day, and he said, you know, it's just not for me. Father says, all right, I'll tell you what, I'm going to send you out with my best salesman. You'll go see the customer, you'll see how our product's used, you'll understand how it's being paid for and the whole process of the business. And the kid does it one day and comes back and says, no, I thought about it, it's just not for me. Father says, all right, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put your desk right against my desk. You'll hear me talk on the telephone all day. You'll see what I'm doing raising this new business and you'll be able to duplicate it. And the kid does it one day and says, no, it's just not for me. The father says, what is it you want? He says, oh, I just want to be bought out. Well, that may be a joke, but it's not that far from the truth sometimes. Actually, when I went to work, I worked in the factory in some of the summers and I went out with the salesman calling on customers and my desk was against my father's.
I had the pleasure to meet your daddy, Sam, and he was a lovely man. He loved to tell jokes, and someone here loved to tell jokes as well. I know it's a soft spot right now, but tell me a little bit about what area of the business that got your attention, got your heart.
Well, I went to work after college and became full-time. At the time, we were not a big business. I didn't grow up with money. I grew up kind of middle class. But we built the business. My brother joined after a period of time. Later on, my son, his son, my sister's husband, and we actually built what became Kichler Lighting, the world's largest decorative lighting manufacturer. And because I started when we were small doing nothing, I learned every aspect of the job and did pretty much everything. But I think probably where I was happiest was on the sales side. And we opened distribution centers all over the country. I went out in the beginning and hired all the managers and the people, found the location, signed the lease, and we just built the business that way, one day at a time.
The sales was exciting for you?
Well, I was in my late 20s and we got a letter from someone in Anchorage, Alaska that wanted to open a lighting store. I talked to my father about it. He says, call him on the phone. I did. It sounded real. he said, well, why don't you go up there? And at that time, we didn't sell past the middle of America. And I did. I flew up there and wrote the biggest order the company ever had at that point. While I was there, and this was pre-computers and pre-cell phones, I looked in the yellow pages, found that there was another lighting store, went over there myself. They didn't know who I was when I walked in, never heard of my company, but wrote an order with the owner of the store. And that gave me a great sense of accomplishment, that I did it all on my own.
Now that you sold your company, what are you doing with your time?
Well, like most people getting ready to retire, so to speak, they're wondering how they're going to fill the time. They wonder if they'll be able to. And my experience was I filled it instantly with stuff I was happy doing and continue to do. I go to the coffee shop every morning when they open, sit with 4 or 5 buddies and do the crossword puzzle, talk about the world. I do Pilates 3 days a week in the morning. Sometimes I'm playing tennis in the morning. And I have many investments that keep me busy. I have a hobby as a movie actor. I started about 10 years ago. I've been in 20-some movies already. And that's been a challenge and fun. I'm in the Young Presidents Organization, even though anything sounding young probably looks like a mismatch right now to me. But it's been a great organization. I've been in for 35 years. I'm on some boards of directors, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Broward Sheriff's Board. I've been on boards of the arts as well in the past. And I like to travel. I've had a lifetime goal of going to 100 countries. I've been to 87. There's actually a website that you can go into the app and it prints out all the ones you've been to by just hitting enter on those.
Oh, that's very interesting. Loneliness. Loneliness is a very big thing now in the world for everyone, for young people, teenagers, adults, everyone really. Do you have any suggestions?
Yeah, I would say if you want to not be lonely, you need to be around other people. The best way to be around other people is to volunteer. See what you can volunteer for. Maybe you're just passing out things and helping people in need. Maybe you're spending your time cleaning up the beach of bottles and debris. There are a lot of things you can do and join. Maybe you have a religious group or a church you belong to. Maybe where you go to work out at the gym, if you do that, you can make friends with people and make arrangements, and volunteering puts you in front of a lot of choices.
Giving your time to do good things to this planet, so it's a great advice.